Well, anyone who thought Yakachonis didn't mean a lot to the Illini, after seeing what happened against USC and seeing what's going on with Indiana right now, I'd say he's pretty valuable. Ked, do you think do you think this could be a two-game voters reason for making him the Big Ten MVP?
I think he must have heard some of the podcasts that I've done because I said there's no way in the world this kid's going to be MVP, but he has a mission and he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He looks healthy, if that makes any sense. He has his legs. He looks really, really good right now. I mean, I'm impressed with how well he's shooting the basketball, and he had a couple of turnovers, but to be honest with you, those turnovers, that he had early, like I can live with that.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. The 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 6 from the 3-point, 4 for 5 from the free throw, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 turnovers. So the man has 19 points in 22 minutes. Meanwhile, we also have Tomislav is also kicking butt at 15 points, going 6 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from the 3, with 8 rebounds, 2 assists, got 2 personal fouls. And really, Ked, about the only thing I can see is Illinois has, 4 guys at 2 fouls each. Other than that, right now, this is almost cruise control.
You know what? That's exactly what you want. You want that cruise control. You want them to finish it. You want them to do exactly what USC did to them last week. You go out there and you compete and you just finish the game. You don't give them a chance. I tell you what, if I'm an Indiana fan, I'm not happy with Mike Woodson. He stood there. He looked like his team. He looked like he didn't care. Didn't call timeout. He just let his team just get taken to the woodshed in the first half, and I guess he complained about the officials, if you will, but I don't know why, because it makes no sense. They just looked really, really flat, and Illinois did exactly what they were supposed to do. The better team came out and did what they were supposed to, Mike.
Yeah, I look at it I look at this as something where this team. We've seen a couple comments what I thought were I do actually think this Fedigators only negative is we're putting a nail in Woodson's coffin, and I actually feel the same way. We need to keep him around another year. I would have loved to have kept Juwan Howard around for another year too. So I will say Woodson doesn't seem to believe, and he's an NBA player, that spacing the floor is of value, and he doesn't have enough guys who can shoot from deep, and you can plug them up without a lot of problem, Ked.
Mike, and it looks like when they started the game, they just stood there and like they weren't going to guard KJ. I thought, what kind of game plan is this? But you know what? It's working out to Illinois' favor. He literally looked like he didn't care about guarding him. They stood back, and I think there was another one. KJ was so wide open, he could have shot it, but I think he's just being nice and didn't shoot it. But honestly, I don't know. If I'm an Indiana fan, like I said to you, his coaching has to be in question right now. But I like it. Keep him there. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we're the biggest members of the Mike Woodson fan club. I will tell you, this is, you know what? You're welcome, Wes. We're glad to have you here. And by the way, folks, we love this because we are getting tons of people here. And if you go through, like, especially when we have Ked and Brad and we throw on a couple different Twitters, you add up all the Twitters and you add up the YouTube, and there's a lot of people who are on. So thank you so much for joining us. I tell you, I was thinking there was one play with about 5 minutes to go where the ball went to like 3 different people. Illinois got it every single time, and I just thought that was the story of the first half, because there was like 3 times the ball got knocked loose like a pinball, and every time it was an Illini player. They just seem to be a step faster tonight. To be honest, it's like watching the USC game the other way around.
Well, my halftime tweet says it all, because I knew what was going on. I didn't know they would come out and do this. I'm not going to sit and lie to people, but I'm telling you, they look like they look like they had a long practice last week, which I knew they did. I'm going to tell you, he got their attention, and he wanted to do that, and he certainly did, Mike. So this is great. And the thing is, I don't know. Last time Brad Underwood was lost 2 games in a row, and I'll tell you right now, you have to finish this game. This is the game that's in front of us.
It's not over.
But it's not over because teams can make a run and do what Indiana could do what Illinois just did. But I guarantee you Michigan State's shaking in their boots just a little bit watching this.
Well, that's setting up a fantastic game on Sunday. And I'll tell you what better way, Ked, to enjoy the playoffs and getting ready to go for the NFL game than having a Fighting Illini game on, right before it. I mean, goodness gracious, these are some of the greatest weeks when you have college football in the championships, college basketball having some great matchups, and then you got the NFL playoffs. I mean, as a sports fan, I am so excited.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is the best time other than the weather, because it's at least where I live at, because you're down in the South. I'm in the Midwest. Other than being
we just had 2 snow days down here in Texas.
I know it won't happen again for another 72 years, maybe, but still, it's just nice because it's other than the weather, it's great. I mean, it's nice to see the fans, excited again. I felt bad Saturday. I wasn't surprised, but I knew this was coming. Again, I didn't think it would be this big, Mike, but in this time of the year, Illinois basketball good, Illinois athletics were good. Like I'm going to say every podcast, enjoy it. I know people are used to just things happening and something's going to go wrong. Like I know in the back of my mind right now, there's at least 100 people watching this thinking, okay, there's a chance that Illinois could come back and they could lose this half and lose by 20. Don't think like that. Just be positive. You have a good program. You got good players. You got good coaches. Just be positive and enjoy this.
Yeah, a couple things going on tonight. When Illinois, when Illinois shoots over 40% from the 3, they are devastating. They are just unbelievably tough. They're doing that again tonight, shooting 48% from the field, well, 49 if you round it up. Out rebounding a pretty physical Indiana team by 11. And I think the key stat of the game, Ked, well, maybe not the game, but one of the key stats that jumps out to me, Illinois has 2 turnovers at the half at Indiana. I wonder if that's like the lowest we've had over there in decades. And the Fedigator, I don't want them to play like this on Saturday because the next game's on Sunday. So we don't want them to miss the day here because it's Sunday, January 19th, 11 a.m. Central on CBS. So you could a lot of people will get their eyes on the Fighting Illini and see just exactly what this team has. And I will tell you right now, I don't think Indiana really knew what was coming their way. And now we're going to see a little bit about this Illini team. How much will they keep their boot right on the throat of these Indiana Hoosiers?
Well, Mike, this is what good team is supposed to do. This is a young team, but this is what a good team. And I'll tell you right now, I see Brad standing up. He's coaching. He's much more aggressive. His substitution pattern is great. I would grade him right now. I would give him an A-. I would like to see my big guy, Marez, play a little bit more. Big fan of his, and I thought he played really, really well. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing to complain about. And those 2 turnovers that you mentioned, I think they came from KJ, and one of them was just one guy's, going to the basket and the other one's going the other way. It's just, but anyway, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick this. This was something to enjoy. It kind of looks like the Oregon game again, all over again.
Yeah, I agree. Now, folks, we will be back, just so you know, 15 minutes after the game. Ked and I will be on for a bit, and then we'll be waiting for Brad to join us. Brad is there live in Bloomington, so we will we'll make sure. Of course, after the game, Brad has to go cover the cover the players and the coaches. Of course, Sturdy, he's got to sign a few autographs, so we got to get him through that, and then he'll be on after that. But we will be back at that time, 15 minutes after the game. And this is what you have to appreciate games like this. You know, Illinois is a very good team this year. We've been telling you that they have a higher ceiling than last year's team, but we also have a lower floor if things don't go well. Well, we're seeing the ceiling come out. Now we have to hope for good health, and they just keep playing well. But this team, make sure you savor a game like this. Ked, how many years have we watched games in Bloomington, Indiana, that we wanted to throw a brick at the TV? I mean, this is a fantastic game. Appreciate it and soak in the moment. That's what I did during the football season this year, and that's what I hope people are doing during basketball.
Yeah, Mike, that's kind of the same thing I was saying. Just enjoy it. I mean, I've received a couple nice texts, and it's weird because people aren't expecting it. So I again, it's great. It's easy to cover when teams win and when they play like this. I think it's good. And you're right. I'm really curious to see the second half. And this is basketball. Indiana is going to Indiana's going to make a run. Oh, I think Joe must subscribe to our board because I see that message.
That must be an IlliniGuys subscriber or a Sports Spectacular listener because he knows about Ked because Ked's the mom whisperer.
Oh, I needed that laugh. Thank you, Mr. Joe.
We have not, Frank, we have not discussed the funding for Indiana boosters to extend Mike Woodson. Now there is a group of people there in Indiana who live in the past because they think it's 1987 and they're still like a national title relevant team. And those people want to keep Mike Woodson in play. As far as I'm concerned, those are the wisest people in Bloomington and raise the money, keep Mike in Bloomington.
He looked really clueless. Illinois went on like a 12-0 run. I'm like, are you going to – he didn't even think about calling a timeout. Didn't look at his bench. I'm like, okay, just continue to get rolled. I'm good with it.
Yeah, and I do think Bill DeLee's give him some rest for later in the game. I'm all for that, although I got to be honest, he just took a game off. Maybe KJ just wants to play, So they are just about to go live here, so we're gonna take our break. But again, folks, keep smashing the like button, keep hitting the subscribe button, follow us on Twitter. We would really, really appreciate it. Get out there and we enjoy everybody who follows us. And we will be back 15 minutes after the game stops. So that gives Ked and I a chance to kind of organize our thoughts. And we'll be back, and then Brad will join us later on. Thanks, everybody, so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And like the Joker, or like Batman told those criminals in the first Batman, tell all your friends. So if you got friends who are Illini fans, send them the link. When you're on here, email it out, tweet it out, whatever you need to do. We really appreciate it. All right, folks. Until we meet again, go Illini.